Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Aether Hub. Today we have another Guilds of Ravnica lore video for you. As we prepare to get back into this city plane, it's best to learn the stories of some of the most influential people in the guilds taking part in this story before we begin. Today we'll be looking at House Dimir and their guild leader, Lazav, briefly diving into their history as well as what they're all about as a guild and how they'll proceed going forward into Guilds of Ravnica. But before we begin, I just wanted to quickly remind you that supporting the channel on Patreon and joining the Vorthos army means you can watch videos like this early and other amazing exclusives. Consider joining the Vorthos army by checking the link in the description below. And now, back to the video. So first, let's get started with this masterful mastermind's new card, Lazav the Multifarious. What an apt name for a card for this character, not only for what it does, but for what part he'll play in the Guilds of Ravnica story. First, this is a 1/3 for just House Dimir colors, blue and black. When it enters the battlefield, you reveal 1, which is like Scry, but you can choose to put the card in your graveyard. It also has the ability this card becomes a copy of target creature in your graveyard with converted mana cost X. The only difference being that copy is called Lazav the Multifarious, is a legendary, and it has this ability. Wow, I love this card, guys. It's so very flavorful and it's probably my top pick for Vorthos card of the set. You'll learn that Lazav is a true shapeshifter, so this ability is pretty much perfect, not to mention really good. Dimir already cares about using Reveal to get things in your graveyard, which means Lazav can be anything you want at instant speed. Need a flyer? Need to get through? Need a death touch blocker? So long as you have it in your graveyard, you got it on the field. And as the copy will have the ability, you're not just stuck committing in just one form. Not to mention, it only costs 2 mana to play. I guess I can understand the issue with this card, like it depends on the state of your graveyard, which could get some hate, or just not have what you need when you need it. Still, it seems super fun. Now that we've seen his new card going into Guilds of Ravnica, let's break down some of the history of House Dimir and Lazav himself. So Lazav was not the original guild leader or founder of the Dimir. The guild's parent was actually an ancient vampire named Zadik, who signed the Dimir into the original guild pact forged by Azor. As a clause to this, however, the vampire requested that his guild remain secret, so that their covert dealings could be protected. In that, all guilds and their founders agreed to never share knowledge of the Dimir, keeping them hidden from the public. Only the oldest leaders of the guilds would know of their existence. This allowed House Dimir to grow in their trade, secrets, espionage, counterintelligence, assassinations, etc., dealing with mercenaries with no knowledge of their employers, corrupting and bribing judges and senators alike, bending Ravnica to the wills of those with the coin to purchase it. However, officially, the guild was only supposed to be the investigators of Ravnica, gathering intel to help the people. But come on, we all got that side hustle. In trying to make this video as streamlined as possible, we won't stay too long on Dimir's past. I will say that the guild almost came to an end when Zadik looked to invoke a power play, and actually broke the original guild pact on Ravnica. With the clause being as it was, Zadik put the other guilds in a position where the existence of House Dimir had to be revealed, breaking the clause and ending the magical pact that prevented all-out war. The result of this was Zadik being captured, executed, and a non-magical agreement being signed without the Dimir being recognized as an official guild. This is where we first see the mysterious step in. Noticing a power vacuum in the Dimir, and remembering what power the guild could hold, the shape-shifting Lavaz came forward to former agents and offered them another place in their new guild. He, and I use the pronoun knowing we don't actually know the gender of Lavaz because, shape-shifting stuff, but he said he could speak to the spirit of Zadik, who was indeed dead but trapped in the spirit realm of Ravnica. In a dark ritual to commune with Zadik, members believed Zadik had perhaps possessed Lazav, while others believed it to be a ruse to get the backing of the Dimir in general. Either way, it worked, and Lavaz now led the disbanded, very non-existent House Dimir. During the story of the Return to Ravnica block, few knew that the Dimir had returned, and just like the other guilds, they sought power in this post-Guild Pact world. Not bound by honor or public image, the Dimir plotted and manipulated the other guilds to further their goals. Complete domination over the city plane. They caused an intentional war between the Rakdos and the Selesnyan in order to cause chaos in the world of guilds, Lazav taking a major role in this as he disguised himself as a prominent figure in Selesnyan culture. Even with all their intelligence gathering on the likes of Jace Beleren and the Izzet League, the Dimir, like others, weren't prepared for the trials of the implicit maze. This would be the key to taking Ravnica for their own, and like all other guilds, the Dimir set their champion to run it, theirs being a vampire named Mirko Vosk. As the maze came to an end, only Jace Beleren would be awarded the powers of the Living Guild Pact, enacting laws and enforcing harmony between all guilds on Ravnica, including House Dimir. Still, with one man holding that much power, the Dimir could find a way to turn or control him. They just need time, a plan, and the shadows. But before those plans could come into play, the ever-vigilant Dimir had picked up on a whisper of an invader to Ravnica looking to shake up the guilds and take control over Ravnica itself. This unknown invader has infiltrated a number of the guilds to their own end, something Lazav himself has loads of experience with as seen on the Guilds of Ravnica card Dimir Guildgate. Every guild dreads infiltration. I should know, I've been a member of them all. So he knows this invader is starting there, and the Dimir stand against him. We of course know this invader to be Nicol Bolas, but the guilds are unaware of his power and willingness to do what it takes to get what he wants. With the dragon's powerful abilities to warp and bend minds, stealing information, he's like the whole Dimir in and of himself, which means Lazav and his guild will try and rebuke his efforts, or lest they too are infiltrated. All of this really comes together on the card Sinister Sabotage. The flavor text reveals that House Dimir knows of the infiltrations and will monitor and control the guilds until it's rooted out. This shows that they suspect the Izzet, at least of working with this force, but none are safe from their spies at this point. But it's actually really interesting to see the Dimir take an interest in Ravnican dealings. Usually they're just there spying and assassinating people for money, but here, we actually see them doing their guild's real duty, protecting the city through investigative and informative means. Though it may be out of self-interest, it's great to see Lazav be the good guy this time around. And that, you guys, is a brief history of the Dimir and their guild leader, the mysterious Lazav the Multifarious. Let me know what you think about their story, their new card, and where you see the lore taking them in the future of Guilds of Ravnica in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you throw it a like, subscribe, and of course, share it on Reddit. It helps more than you guys can imagine. If you want to watch videos like this early, as well as receive signed cards and access to my Discord, consider joining the Vorthos army over on Patreon, and you'll get loads of exclusive content and rewards. Check that link in the description below. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time here on the Aether Hub.